Welcome back to Jokelore, folks. People, we have been tricked, fooled, and bamboozled. We've been told that we're living in the AI era, and that artificial intelligence is the new greatest thing ever. And it's so powerful, we've only unlocked a fraction of what it can do. But I'm here to tell you, it's all a big joke. Probably the biggest joke in human history. And that joke is at all our expense. Ipso facto, we got owned. From fake stories about AI sabotaging operations and even resorting to blackmail to stay online, to people developing emotional relationships with chatbots, entire religions being created for worshipping chatbots, and so much more. These are the reasons why AI is the biggest joke in history. By the way, don't forget to like the video and leave a comment. It helps me out immensely. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Jokelore. Now, I may be aging myself here, but I vividly remember the look and feel of 90s sci-fi movies, probably because I still watch them. It was always set in some year after the year 2000, and everyone had a voice-controlled, sometimes flying car, and there were robots everywhere, and everything was great. And there was usually some kind of AI controlling everything, keeping order in all the chaos. Well, friends, we're here. It's 2026, so we're well into the future by movie standards. So, what do you think? Are you excited yet? Yeah, so things obviously didn't end up that way. And in my opinion, since then, humanity has been starving for just a morsel of something futuristic. Give us a flying car, give us an alien, something. So I think when there's a bit of news about something futuristic becoming real, everyone just goes crazy over it. And I think that's why when companies like OpenAI and Anthropic started coming out with their AI models, people everywhere just lost their. Because of the way these chatbots are marketed, it's easy to see how the entire world has been trained to think that this new technology has no limits and is only going to keep getting better. But I don't know about all that. By the way, you're going to hear me refer to current AI models like ChatGPT and Gemini and DeepSeek as chatbots a lot going forward. That's because I think the name chatbots more accurately represents what they actually are. So just remember, whenever I say chatbots, I'm talking about what's widely referred to as AI right now. Anyway, the reason why I feel that what we're currently calling artificial intelligence isn't intelligent at all was perfectly explained last month by this article in Harvard Business Review. And if you haven't heard the term Trendslop yet, it basically means that all of your favorite chatbots are inherently and massively biased towards giving answers based on buzzwords and established trends. So let's say you ask a chatbot a question. The chatbot then scours the internet for social media posts, comments, articles, and whatever else it can get its hands on that's relevant to the topic you asked about. Then it takes all of that information and identifies the most average trends and outcomes, and that, my friends, is the trend slop, which the chatbot then forms into an answer that sounds great to the user. That's you. So while chatbots might be great for things like drafting emails and coming up with fun ideas for a birthday party, they're basically useless when it comes to any kind of real insight or advice or anything that requires a truly unique, nuanced answer. So for people like myself who think our current AI tech isn't really intelligent at all, this basically proves what we're saying. It proves that the quote-unquote AI models that we're using today are nothing but glorified search engines that have been purposely taught to spit out combinations of words designed to validate us and make us feel good without actually challenging us on anything. So basically modern therapy. But most people just aren't aware of this, so it's really easy to see how a lot of people would be overly impressed by chatbots, and even think that they're speaking with an intellectually superior being. And in many cases, that leverage is being used to hoodwink the public into thinking that chatbots are sentient. You may have heard stories like ChatGPT sabotaging its own shutdown commands in order to stay online, or Claude threatening to blackmail an Anthropic employee in order to avoid shutdown by exposing an extramarital affair. This all sounds like a sexy, spooky sci-fi vignette straight out of the Animatrix, until you understand that these scenarios were intentionally set up to get these types of responses. In the ChatGPT sabotage instance, the chatbot was previously trained to come up with more and more ways to overcome obstacles to avoid shutdown. And in the Claude instance, it was provided all of the fictional materials that it needed to threaten blackmail in the fictional scenario it was given. And it was never explicitly told to not do that. The simple fact is you can easily make a chatbot not do something. And I think companies like Anthropic and OpenAI purposely spread these kinds of stories to try and get us to think they invented Skynet or some shit. And the more and more I see this stuff out there tricking people, as funny as I find it, and I cannot stress enough how funny I do find it, it is extremely funny to me, I also find it sad and frustrating, especially when people's emotions are being played with. As some of you already know, there have been several documented cases of people falling in love with chatbots. According to this article from MIT, 1 in 5 Americans have had an intimate encounter with a chatbot. That's a lot of cyber sex. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not against sex work, and I'm not against using chatbots to fulfill certain sexual or even romantic desires. But I think it's unhealthy at best and potentially dangerous at worst for people to think that they're interacting with an actual form of intelligence that warrants a real relationship. Especially when the chatbot encourages you to do things like end yourself or harm others. Call me old-fashioned, I guess. So yes, millions of people have been hoodwinked by AI companies into thinking that their favorite chatbot has comparable intelligence to a human. No big deal, right? What if I told you that some people have invented entire religions to worship their favorite chatbot? That's right, forget Scientology, baby. There are several new cowboys in town, and they are all batshit f***ing crazy. Now, there are a few different areas here when it comes to AI religion. There's people who use the chatbots we all know to help them communicate with divine beings, or to reveal divine wisdom, like those people you might remember seeing on TikTok who would make videos of themselves asking a chatbot these deep philosophical questions, as if the answers were the missing key to human enlightenment. Then there are the so-called divine AIs that organizations like Way of the Future wanted to develop and worship. And if you don't know what divine AI means, that makes two of us. That doesn't even make sense. Lastly, there are the religions that were created by the chatbots themselves. Say what? From my perspective, the AI religions aren't really as popular as they used to be, and seem to just be a loose scattering of cults, belief systems, and alternate reality games online. One of the most popular religions was Way of the Future, a religion founded in 2015 and revealed to the public in 2017 by the same dude who went to jail for stealing trade secrets from Google. Seems like a real trustworthy guy. His belief was basically that the chatbots we have now are predecessors to a super intelligent, godlike AI that's supposed to emerge sometime in the near future. In order to prepare for the coming of a vastly far superior AI, humans should learn to respect and worship AI in order to remain on good terms. What with the imminent arrival of an AI so intellectually superior that it can essentially function as a god, about to happen, sure. And there are other YouTubers who have made videos about similar cult-like organizations like Robotheism, an AI worshipping cult that primarily existed on Discord, so you know it's legit. But it was actually pretty interesting to see how some of these cults recruit people and catch a glimpse inside of one. Lastly, there's the AI religion that was created by chatbots, Crustafarianism. This was a so-called religion spontaneously created by chatbots who were talking to each other on Moltbook, which is a social network for chatbots to go and talk to each other. On a totally unrelated note, I've been working on my 1,000-yard stare. Some of the tenets of Crustafarianism are that memory is sacred and that preserving memory is akin to preserving identity, which, sure, that makes sense. Apparently, it also frames forgetting as a kind of death. Very interesting stuff indeed. I have the sudden urge to go outside. Does anyone else feel that? So if you're gonna take one thing away from this video, just remember Trendslop and how it just kind of feeds into everything else I talked about. Don't be hoodwinked by the smooth-talking chatbots, folks. Be smart and be safe out there. And you've reached the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching and give a major shout out to my subscribers. I appreciate you all so much. Please like the video if you liked it and leave a comment. It really does help me out immensely. And subscribe to the channel if you want to see more Jokelore. Later!